Welcome, friends. Thank you for being with us in person today to voice as we move through another phase of our endeavor, hoping that we will develop an understanding and an ability to apply the concept of as above, so below. Using occult meditation, this year we're starting with Meditation 5, incorporating aspects of the new approach to the science of relations, which Master DK calls the new astrology. He gives us what is a very big template for what is coming in the future. In Aquarius, the relation of the science of service, invocation and evocation, with the science of triangles, the science of the centers, and today, the science of the rays, creating a spiral of cyclic divine breath that acting, for it is the will to act, in Aquarius, as the stimulus for the continuity of the divine circulatory flow, the will to love into and through our system and our planetary life. Michael Robbins said during the time of Aquarius, the energy to which we avail ourselves at this time will eventually come out in all of our interactions.
Before we begin, let us align as soul and as a group and see our group approaching Master DK's study. We are endeavoring to touch the rain cloud of knowable things, cleared and free of the fogs of glamour and illusion. We visualize the one soul, uniting the souls of all our group members, those working with us subjectively, and those joining us from the other side of the veil. In unison, we sound the protective formula, uniting touch, hands, light, and love. While making these in the cross of divinity, as the soul, we work in light. Touch the forehead. And darkness cannot touch us. Touch the chest. We take our stand within the light. Touch the left eye. We work, and from that point, we never move. Touch the left eye.
Within the vastness of the universe, neural network of the Absolute, we sound our note. You are here in the Milky Way. I am the soul. I am light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. Linked to the universal neural network of the Absolute that extends from the highest to the lowest, expands our connectivity consciously from the energies and the influences on the cosmic etheric plane down and including the lowest subplane where we find the constitution of man. We sound the Om. It is necessary to overcome the feeling of the void. Behind this illusion crawls much that is harmful. Irresponsibility appears, and the maya of plunging into emptiness results, followed by dissolution in it. But then, what about the seeds that are indissoluble? From the realization of them will be built up an understanding of the space being completely filled. Such a condition will be the basis of responsibility. Thus, let us begin with the seed of spirit and then broaden the thought to include all space. From Agni Yoga Brotherhood, Sloka 164. We recognize our pledged discipleship. We recognize the equipment we have been given. We recognize our achieved alignment. we recognize the soul, the source of love wisdom. We recognize our response, ability as we contemplate the guidance we receive, and our responsibility to become effective and pure recipients and transmitters of the highest to the lowest. Holding the consciousness in the head and seeing our group together as one. Visualize a sphere of deep electric blue, vivid and living. Say the following words, endeavoring to realize their significance as we say, we stand in spiritual being and as the soul we serve. We stand within the light, and as the light shines throughout our form, we radiate that light. We stand within the love of God, and as that love streams through and from the heart, we magnetize the ones we seek to aid.
We had examined contemplatively this triangle of the perfection of human consciousness. Taurus with its link to the Pleiades. Leo with its link to the Great Bear. And Aquarius, the great constellation that stands as a counterpoint to Leo at the high point of the fixed cross. So we view this triangle of the perfection of human consciousness as a triangle upon the fixed cross. If you conceive of a cross in your mind, it would be the triangle that forms on the left-hand side of that cross. And upon it, the heart of the sun is called into activity and pours its energies in our system through Neptune upon man. These are the words of Master Dwell Cool. Today we will look and contemplate the second ray, the fifth ray, and the seventh ray that flow from this great triangle into and through our sun and into the extraplanetary triangle of the avatar of synthesis, the spirit of peace, and the Lord of light, the Buddha, and into the planetary triangles. In this case, Venus, Uranus, and Neptune, and into the triangle of Shambhala, hierarchy, and the new group of world servers on into humanity. The first ray of Shambhala, the second ray of hierarchy, the third ray, the new group of world servers as the Ajna center of the planet, and the fourth ray, humanity. These three, Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius, stimulate and affect the heart, the throat, and the ajna centers. Consider within any group the heart, the throat, and the ajna center of that group and its relationship to these higher centers. We're given much information about the rays that flow from the universal one through Aquarius, Leo, and Taurus. And in actuality, as those come through the second ray of our solar system into our system, Uranus, the sun veiling Vulcan and Neptune, and Venus, all the rays are in fact involved. And as those come into the planetary life, now into the fifth root race and fifth subrace, let us contemplate some of the teachings related to the second ray and the fifth ray in particular, bringing from the ashrams, the one ashram united as divine vision, divine ideals, the masters receiving, being the recipient of those divine ideals, and through telepathic rapport, imbuing the initiatory process with those ideals, which then in turn are received by senior disciples as ideas, and to disciples who then create thought forms communicated through telepathy to aspirants and the intelligentsia of the world. Remembering it is the service of the plan which binds the 7 ashrams with their subsidiary ashrams into one great ashram. And this ashram is a state of mind of a group. The ashram identifying as being in the spiritual triad. It is a point of united thought. It is a center for a clarification of the vision. And it is not of physical plane methods of work. So for the recipients, we need to keep this in mind as we develop creative activities to imbue our groups with the plan for humanity and come to practical steps eventually that can be activated in our lives. So let's consider that today as we move forward together with the science of the rays.
All the lords of the rays create a body of expression, and thus the 7 planets have come into being. These are their major expressions. The energies of these 7 lives, however, are not confined to their planetary expressions, but sweep around the confines of the solar system, just as the life impulses of a human being, his vital forces, his desire impulses, and his mental energies sweep throughout his body, bringing the various organs into activity and enabling him to carry out his intent to live his life and to fulfill the objective for which he created his body of manifestation.
The sweep. We might trace the inflow of the rays in Aquarius and its greater triangle, including Taurus and Leo, through the monadic ray of the system, flowing from and circulating through the triangle of centers, Shambhala, hierarchy, the new group of world servers to humanity. At the highest level, ray 2, the will to good, the synthetic ray of the solar system, flowing into Shambhala, the will to initiate, and the will to evolve, invoking the will to act in Aquarius, the will to cause. The seventh ray, the will to express into the hierarchy, where the ideal of goodwill moves then into the Ajna center of the planet, the new group of world servers. And through the synthetic ray of manifestation, the seventh ray, becomes the qualities of enlightened expression as goodwill in action. As members of the new group of world servers, the activities that include receptivity from the subtle levels through the synthetic ray of manifestation, becoming aware of the qualities of enlightened expression that can be transmitted to humanity as goodwill in action. Pause and ponder in your experience, in your groups, demonstration of these qualities. Goodwill in action being manifested through group activities. We'll pause briefly that you might formulate and express either in the chat or share with the group. Thank you.
Last week, we focused on the science of the centers. Eventually, at the close of the next root race, the sixth root race, you will have the full expression of love, and the lotuses up the spine will appear. All 5 of them, differing only in the number of petals found in each. Finally, at the close of the great world cycle, when all the lotuses have reversed themselves, all will be opening and presenting free channels for the inflow and the transmission of the three major divine energies and the four lesser forces. At this point in humanity's development and evolution, it is important for us to note as we study that there are flows of force moving through the etheric body into the dense physical body. And to maintain a free flow of these forces allows for health and vitality. These forces, seeking inlet into the dense physical, are emanations from three directions, if I may use such a term. One, from the personality vehicles, the astral and mental bodies. Two, from the soul, if contact with the soul, recognized or unrecognized, has been established. And three, from the environing world to which the vehicles of the soul and of the personality have acted as doors of entrance. Incidentally, in connection with this last phrase, I would call your attention to a possible relation between these doors of entrance and the phrase door of initiation. As we move forward together, we focus on the higher triangles and centers because we are warned by Master DK. First, I would state that no work, such as an effort to awaken the centers, should ever be undertaken whilst the aspirant is aware of definite impurities in his life, or when the physical body is in poor condition or is diseased. Neither should it be undertaken when the pressure of external circumstances is such that there is no place or opportunity for quiet and uninterrupted work. It is essential that for the immediate and focused work on the centers, there should be the possibility of hours of seclusion and of freedom from interruption. This I cannot too strongly emphasize, and I do so in order to demonstrate to the eager student that at this period in our history, there are few whose lives permit this seclusion. Only 1 in 1,000 aspirants is at the stage where he should begin to work with the energy in his or her own centers. And perhaps even this estimate is too optimistic. Better far that the aspirant serves and loves and works and disciplines himself, leaving the centers to develop and unfold more slowly and therefore more safely. Unfold they inevitably will, And the slower and safer method is, in the vast majority of cases, the more rapid. Premature unfoldment involves much loss of time and carries with it often the seeds of prolonged trouble.
In this transition that we're making today from last week's focus on the centers to this week's focus on the rays, it's really important that we keep this in mind as we integrate into the fifth essential relation, which is that of the higher centers, the triangle above the diaphragm, with the triangle below. And as disciples and aspirants, we're working in groups where we are activating that higher triangle in the group, head, heart, and ajna center, or heart, ajna, and throat, and then using that power to influence the lower centers and focusing on humanity. So it's really important that we recognize our fitness, our discipline, and our ability to work in group formation. And it'll be even more important as we approach the sixth essential relation, which involves the centers in the head that are activated. So this is why we're laying emphasis on this instruction at this particular point in time. As we are activating the will to initiate, the will to unify, the will to evolve, the will to harmonize, the will to act, the will to cause, and the will to express as we move together. So let us consider the rays in relation to the centers. The first ray, the head center, Shambhala, and the flow of the energies and the forces into and through the points of each triangle. The second point for us, the second ray, the heart center hierarchy. The third ray, the Ajna center, the new group of world servers. The fourth ray, humanity. And the fifth ray, the throat center, developed humanity. The sixth ray, the solar plexus, developing man, humanity. That point of entry for the light, the life impulse that we have learned from a treatise on cosmic fire, which then must be lifted in occult meditation using meditation 4, lifting the solar plexus to the heart, using the Ajna center and expressing through the throat center of developed humanity. Eventually invoking the seventh ray, the base center, and lifting those lower centers to the Alta Major center at the point at the top of the spine. DK tells us when these triangles are paths of threefold fire emanating from the base of the spine, when the interlacing is complete and the fire progresses along the path from center to center in the correct manner, and when this is accomplished in the order required by the initiate's primary ray, then the work is completed. The fivefold man, which we were told in the previous slide, will occur at the end of the age, has attained perfection for this present greater cycle, and the goal is reached. And note that this order, he tells us, has to be attained in the head centers likewise. This is why we do not invoke this particular path, because it is so far ahead of us.
A ray confers, through its energy, peculiar physical conditions and determines the quality of the astro-emotional nature. It colors the mind-body. It controls the distribution of energy. For the rays are of differing rates of vibration and govern a particular center in the body, differing with each ray, through which that distribution is made. Each ray works through one center primarily, and through the remaining 6 in specific order. The ray predisposes a human being to certain strengths and weaknesses, and constitutes his or her principle of limitation, as well as endowing us with capacity. It governs the method of our relations to other human types, and is responsible for our reactions in form to other forms. It gives us our coloring and quality, our general tone on the 3 planes of the personality, and it molds our physical appearance. Certain attitudes of mind are easy for one ray type and difficult for another, and hence the changing personality shifts from ray to ray, from life to life, until all the qualities are developed and expressed. Pause to ponder. What attitudes of mind flow through you? Your family, your community, or your working groups? And how are you receiving this flow? Expand our ability to hold this idea. The emanating energy, evocative force, magnetic center, to the Ajna center, the third eye as the distribution center, relating to invocation, ascent, and evocation, descent, the third ray of active intelligence in this divine flow, circulatory flow of energies. Humanity is in reality the brain of the planetary deity, its many units being analogous to the brain cells in the human apparatus. Just as the human brain, made up of an infinite number of sentient responsive cells, can be suitably impressed when quiescence has been achieved, and can become the medium of expression for the plans and purposes of the soul, transmitting its ideas via the mind. So the planetary deity, working under the inspiration of the universal mind, can impress humanity with the purposes of God and produce consequent effects in the world of phenomena. Why do we need to know and understand the ray energies transmitting through the triangles in relation to Aquarius in particular? The second ray of love wisdom is the dominant ray of this our solar system, and the emanating energy from the highest to the lowest, all pervasive and interpenetrating.
The law of the group is the law of magnetic impulse, the foundation of all relationships in our solar system. We can look for the new laws governing soul life, which is group life, to begin to function and make their presence felt. Sacrifice, service, magnetism. I, if I be lifted up, will draw. Group progress, divine repulsion. These are but the inadequate terms whereby we seek to express the divine truth that the whole life and expression of the solar logos will only be possible, and his purpose only be revealed when he has brought each atomic unit to the stage of self-realization. Then he will lead them on to the point of sacrificing that realized self, so that divine purpose and will may be consummated, and the divine life and glory shine forth in perfect radiance. This might be expressed in more material terms by saying that through the dominance of these laws of the soul, the logoic physical body will become an active expression of his self-realized purpose. The qualities of goodness are so called because they are, in essence, the energies controlling group relations. The powers, called superhuman, are fundamentally the powers which express group activity. And the virtues are only effects of group life, rightly handled, which are attempting to express themselves on the physical plane. We pause to consider group activity and the virtues of the rays as they are the effects of group life, rightly handled. The second law of the group is the law of magnetic impulse. Esoteric name, the law of magnetic impulse. Esoteric name, the law of polar union. Symbol, 2 fiery balls and triangle. Ray energy, radiatory energy. second ray manifesting energy.
We consider our group activity as part of living and radiating the laws of the soul. These which we are considering are concerned entirely with inter-soul relationship and with the synthesis underlying the forms. These laws govern the conscious contact existing between the many aspects of the one soul. Consider our group and our groups, reflecting the many aspects of the one soul. And as we consider the rays, the inter-soul relationships and the synthesis underlying the forms, emerging in our conscious contact. These high spiritual laws then find their way into the lower consciousness via the egoic lotus, the soul vehicle, and the antakarana. This statement is the second basic postulate in connection with our study of the rays. The first postulate being the earlier statement that unless there is a thread of light to act as a channel, that which this law conveys will remain unknown and unrealized. The Tibetan goes on to say that this will at first increase the world difficulty, hence the need to make the meaning of these laws clear, their objective simple, and their potencies understandable. These 7 laws of the soul can be worked out along the line of correspondences. It will be found that the energy of any particular center and that of any one law can be brought into line with each other. So as we move to contemplate the rays from the great triangle of Aquarius, Leo, and Taurus, we have to keep in mind that these emanate as rays of life from our spiritual sun, the second ray, the first ray and second ray, and the heart of the sun, the second ray, into and through our planetary life as sub-rays of the second ray of love wisdom, which for our planetary life currently in its expression is the third ray of love wisdom, a third ray of active intelligence. So it's a very complicated but comprehensive flow that is all in motion at all times, presenting us with the demand to stand at that point of light, at that point of quiescence, at the point of equilibrium. For the flow of the second ray, love, magnetically functioning, producing wisdom. Love and wisdom, the synthetic ray, the goal of this system, holding all in close harmony and relation. The connection to the sub-ray, the fourth ray. The intuition and the ray of love, wisdom, the understanding of God, awakening the intuition, the Buddhic plane, literally the synthesis and immediate grasp of the truth as it essentially exists. And the Lord of the second ray will bring to a conclusion through this process, the entire evolutionary process, through the development in humanity of that perfect insight, which will make every human being a complete and intelligent cooperator with the plan. So let us consider, as we move in these energies from our point of equilibrium, the ray purpose of deity, the second ray.
The second ray purpose of deity. Ray 2, love wisdom. The word is issuing from the heart of God, emerging from a central point of love. The word is love itself. Divine desire colors all that life of love. Within its human hierarchy, the affirmation gathers power and sound. The word in the beginning was. The word hath dwelt and dwells with God. In him was light. In him was life. Within his light we walk. His symbol is the thunder, the word that cycles down the ages. Some of the names of this Ray Lord, which convey his purpose, are as follows. The displayer of glory, the Lord of eternal love, the cosmic magnet, the giver of wisdom, the radiance in form, the master builder, the conferrer of names, the great geometrician, the one who hides the life, the cosmic mystery, the Son of God incarnate, the cosmic Christ.
Master DK may be giving us a hint in that he gives us 12 names. There are 12 vortices in the heart of the solar system. There are 12 vortices in the heart as a center for a planet. Or an initiate. a group is sounding 12 heartbeats. Sounding the names of deity that flow through the second ray of love wisdom.
The fifth ray, the door into the mind of God. In the study of this science of triangles, the student must bear in mind that there is always one point of the triangle which, in a particular crisis or event in consciousness, is the emanating dynamic conditioning energy. During the cycle, great or small, major or minor, in which it thus controls, the other 2 points express receptivity and are regarded esoterically as embodying forces. Every triangle is therefore the expression of one fundamental energy and of 2 secondary forces. This is a basic statement of importance and the formulation of a law under which all the triplicities of energy function in time and space. The fifth purpose of deity, Ray 5, concrete knowledge or science, the will to act. The thunders crash around the mountaintop. Dark clouds conceal the form. The mists arising from the watery sphere serve to distort the wondrous, found within the secret place. The form is there. Its note is sounding forth. A beam of light illuminates the form. A hidden now appears. Knowledge of God and how he veils himself finds consummation in the thoughts of man. The energies and forces receive their secret names, reveal their inner purpose, and all is seen as rhythm, a returning on itself. The great scroll can now be read. God's purpose and his plans are fixed, and man can read the form. The plan takes form. The plan is form. Its purpose is the revelation of the mind of God. The past reveals the form, but the present indicates the flowing or in of energy. That which is on its way comes as a cloud which veils the sun, but hid behind this cloud of immanence is love. And on the earth is love, and in the heaven is love, and this, the love which maketh all things new, must stand revealed. This is the purpose back of all the acts of this great Lord of knowledge. Before enumerating the names of this great life, I should like to point out that the fifth ray is one of unique and peculiar potency in relation to the human kingdom. The reason is that the fifth plane of mind is the sphere of his major activity, and it is on this plane that we find the triple aspects of mind: the abstract or higher mind, the embodiment of a higher triad. The concrete or lower mind, the highest aspect of the lower self. The ego or solar angel, the pure son of mind, who expresses intelligence both abstractly and concretely, and is the point of unification. This life has also much power today in connection with the fifth root race and with the transference of the consciousness of humanity into the fifth or spiritual kingdom. Students would learn much if they contrasted the building power of the higher mind with the destroying power of the lower. Just as the personality has no other function in the divine plan than to be a channel for and the medium of expression of the soul, so the lower mind is intended to be the channel for the pure inflow of higher mind energy. Some of the names given to the fifth ray lord are as follows: the revealer of truth, the great connector, the divine intermediary, the crystallizer of forms, the threefold thinker, the cloud upon the mountaintop, the precipitator of the cross, the dividing sword, the winnover of the chaff, the fifth great judge, the rose of God, the heavenly one, the door into the mind of God, the initiating energy, the ruler of the third heaven, the guardian of the door, the dispenser of knowledge, the angel with the flaming sword, the keeper of the secret, the beloved of the Logos, the brother from Sirius, the master of the Hierophants. This fifth ray has so many names, owing to his close connection with man, since man was originally created, that it has not been easy to choose those which are of the most use in enabling the student to form an idea of the fifth ray characteristics and mission.
This fifth ray is a being of the intensest spiritual light, and in his manifestation on the fifth plane, which is peculiarly his, he symbolizes the three aspects in a way achieved by no other way. Through his quality of higher mind, this ray is a pure channel for the divine will. Through the septenary grouping of the solar lives on the mental levels whereon they appear, he brought into functioning activity 7 corresponding reflections of the 7 centers of deity, as far as our planet is concerned, a thing which none of his 6 brothers' rays have done. This statement means little to you, but the tremendous sacrifice and effort this involved are paralleled only by the life of the Buddha, and this is one of the reasons why, in this fifth race, love and mind must eventually and mutually reveal each other. qualities activated and vitalized by the soul life and the heart of the planetary life. Divine purpose, spiritual will, wisdom, compassion, brotherhood, truth and justice, love, freedom, divine vision, trust, the divine plan, brotherhood as cooperation through sacrifice as service, justice as equality in sharing the good, the true, and the beautiful, spiritual will as courage, surrender of individual life and aspiration to the group life and group will, freedom as freedom of choice, love as joy. These to be expressed through the spiritual will of the soul and integrated personality, united in group service.
Aspirants are drawn into relation with the ashram through its radiation and eventually enter finally into its magnetic field for the distribution of the energy of active intelligence from humanity, thus enabling the masters to formulate the plan. See our groups as recipients of the flow of the energy from the Christ, aided by the Manu and the Mahachohan, as the Christ is the coordinator of the entire life of the great ashram. And we are drawn through this radiation of the ashram up into its magnetic field. Thus we say, we stand on the periphery of the ashram of the masters.
What is the source of this energy of active intelligence from humanity, enabling the masters to formulate the plan? Knowledge itself is that which knows its own ends and works towards those ends through the process of intelligent experiment, the awareness of the light in the head center. This is the first initiation, is an expression, birth. Inspired expectation, the awareness of the soul light. The second initiation is an expression, baptism. Illumined experience, the awareness of the radiance of the angel of the presence. At the third initiation is a culmination as the first major initiation, the transfiguration. 1. Points at which, in your own experience, you noted a significant shift in the effect of this theoretical knowledge and intuitive flashes appearing as impressions. 2. With discriminative knowledge, the light expanding into greater and greater radiance in group service. 3. The light steadily increasing as the light of the intuition is becoming the Antakarana. Examination. And the 4th initiation. The crucifixion produces exaltation, which produces a final exit. Words such as these are synthetic symbols conveying a cosmic story in terms of constructive brevity. Let us pause to ponder. The energy of any particular center and that of any one law can be brought into line with each other. Through the 5th ray quality of higher mind, this ray is a pure channel for the divine will, intelligent experiment, inspired expectation, illumined experience. 1. Points at which, in your own experience, you noted a significant shift in the effect of this theoretical knowledge and intuitive flashes appearing as impressions. 2. With discriminative knowledge, the light expanding into greater and greater radiance in group service. 3. The light steadily increasing as the light of the intuition is becoming the Antakarana.
The keynotes of this sign are 3 in number and very easy to understand, though when they make their note felt on the reversing wheel, most difficult to demonstrate. They are 1. The service of the personality, the lower self, which eventually transmutes itself into the service of humanity. 2. Superficial and selfish activity, which changes into a deep and active intention to be active on behalf of the hierarchy. 3. Self-conscious living, which changes finally into a sensitive humanitarian awareness. Align the essential relations that we contemplate to achieve integration and eventual fusion and the attainment of the 4th initiation with the keynotes of Aquarius. 1. The service of the personality, the lower self, which eventually transmutes itself into the service of humanity. 2. Superficial and selfish activity, which changes into a deep and active intention to be active on behalf of hierarchy. 3. Self-conscious living, which changes finally into a sensitive humanitarian awareness. First, physical, male and female physical bodies. Second, between the astral body and the physical. Third, between the mind and the brain. Fourth, between the soul and the personality. Fifth, between the centers below the diagram and those above. Sixth, between the two head centers. There is therefore a line of descending energy which has its origin outside our planetary life altogether. The inflow of this energy, its inevitable effect upon cyclic law and its consequences, as they work out upon the physical plane, has produced and is producing all the changes of which mankind is so terribly aware at this time. This swings into immediate conflict the past and the future, and in this statement I have expressed the deepest esoteric truth which mankind is competent to grasp. It brings into a culminating struggle the great White Lodge and the Black Lodge, and opens the door to great contending energies, which we can call spirit and matter, spirituality and materialism, or life and death. These words are, in the last analysis, as meaningless as the terms good and evil, which have significance only in the human consciousness and its inherent limitations. Pause to ponder the inflow of this energy, its inevitable effect upon cyclic law and its consequences, as they work out upon the physical plane, producing all the changes of which mankind is so terribly aware at this time. This swings into immediate conflict, the past and the future, and in this statement, I have expressed the deepest esoteric truth which mankind is competent to grasp, brings into a culminating struggle the Great White Lodge and the Black Lodge, and opens the door to great contending energies, which we can call spirit and matter, spirituality and materialism, or life and death. These descending energies, as they pass through any of the major levels of consciousness, which we call planes, produce reactions and responses dependent upon the state of the conditioning consciousness. And, strange as this may seem to you and well nigh intelligible, the effects upon the hierarchy are even more compelling and transmuting than they are upon humanity. I would add also that the point of lowest descent of the energies is now being reached, and the nature of the present opportunity is therefore changing. These energies have now passed what we might call the turning point, and have reached their point of ascension, with all that phrase implies. As they descend, they produce stimulation. As they ascend, they produce transmutation and abstraction. And the one effect is as unalterable as the other.
We have here one of Master DK's teachings that gives us great insight into the reversal of the wheel. Through the cycles, the descent of energies into and through the new group of world servers as the mediating body touches those able to receive and become the recipient of these impressions. And the wheel is reversed through transmutation and eventual transformation and transfiguration upon the reversed wheel. So we pause to ponder in the descent, producing stimulation. What do we know of this reversal for humanity in the sign of Scorpio? All the initiates at various stages of development, producing transmutation and abstraction. Master DK advises his disciples to increasingly work in all activities under the law of abstraction. And the one effect then is as unalterable as the other. Take time in your own contemplative practice to consider this.
In the Aquarian age, which is now so near, relatively speaking, there will be an externalization of the inner ashram upon the outer plane. Disciples, initiates, and world disciples will meet for the first time in human history as disciples, recognizing each other and recognizing the master of their group. The inner ashram is a focus of souls, free and unlimited. The outer ashram, upon the future Aquarian experiment, will be composed of a focus of personalities and souls. Limitation will therefore exist, Responsibility will require conscious recognition, and there will be a necessary slowing down of both action and perception in the outer space-time world. The true ashram, of which the coming outer ashrams will be but reflections, is not for lower concrete mind discussion. It is a focal point of receptivity. It embraces the effort to establish mutual contact through the united recognition of the vision, of the esoteric basis of life, and the laws governing action. It is not a place, however, for long and silent meditation processes, for it is a point of tension where, together, the ageless wisdom in its more esoteric aspects is discussed, where the nature of soul relationship is recognized, and where the fusion of auras and the interblending of the triangles goes forward consciously.
Let us materialize this service as one, as part, an integral part of the one group, materializing it to humanity, thinking the teachings into the minds of humanity. Spiritual courage, wisdom, compassion, brotherhood, truth and justice, love, freedom of choice. Receptivity, receptiveness, we receive. Become the recipient of impressions, that we may recognize the qualities to express.
In reference to this second ray, it is advisable to recollect that all the rays are but sub-rays of the second ray of love wisdom. The one in the center, who is the point within the circle of manifestation, has three major qualities: life or activity in form, love, and the power of abstraction. It is these last two qualities of deity with which we are concerned in these formulas and in connection with the second ray. The dualities of attraction and abstraction emerge, both latent and both capable of perfected activity in their own field.
The virtues of the rays, as we have examined in previous times together, we are told by DK that these virtues are only effects of group life, rightly handled, which are attempting to express themselves on the physical plane. So through this group, we are attempting to demonstrate calm, serene temperament, patience, endurance, strength, love of truth, faithfulness, and the beginning touch of the intuition and the dawning of the will to unify. In Aquarius, with the energy of the fifth ray, strictly accurate statements, justice without mercy, curiously, perseverance, common sense, uprightness, independence, and keen intellect, that we may, on the inflow of the energies of these rays, begin to embody and sense the will to act in accordance with these virtues, which are the effects on our group life, rightly handled, that we then can express on the physical plane. And the virtues to develop: love, compassion, unselfishness, and energy, devotion, sympathy, love, wide-mindedness, and reverence. And we will look at the seventh ray in the context of our unifying session together next week. As disciples, we learn to integrate ourselves into a master's ashram. We discover that the first thing we have to do is to establish a basic harmony between ourselves, among ourselves, and our fellow disciples, and to reinforce the contact between our own souls, the ashramic group, and the master. Then we learn to comprehend through discussion and experiment the nature of the energies which are seeking world expression, and the nature of the forces which must be reduced to powerlessness if these new incoming energies are to prove effective in bringing about the desired changes under the plan. So we invoke the higher triangles, remembering always that there is one point that is the event in consciousness, and the other 2 points are the points of receptivity. So as we use the triangles, think this through, so that the lower triangle, as we express the fifth essential relationship, the connectedness, the energies of the higher triangle being expressed through the lower triangle as skill in action onto the lower, through the lower centers onto the field of action in our world today. Select one of the qualities of the higher awareness, and we will do this for next week. You may do it yourself in your own time and space and with your other groups. And then we will ponder how we will express this quality as skill in action. Recognizing our achieved alignment, recognizing our relationship with the new group of world servers. Developing the heart as the organ of fusion that we may eventually express through the head center, the organ of synthesis. And legend tells us these 6 brothers of the second ray, the qualities, may we think of them as the sub-rays. Consider sending forth the word and speaking the radiant love of God to make all men and women hear. Love divine, is this the expression of the first subray, of the second ray? Let the Lord, the glory of the Lord shine forth. Let there be radiant light as well as radiant love. The quality radiance, is this the expression of the third subray of the ray of love wisdom? Draw to thyself the object of thy search, pull forth into the light of day from out of the night of time, one thou lovest. Attraction as the quality. Is this an expression of the fourth subray, harmony through conflict? When light and love are shewn forth, then let the power produce the perfect flower. Let the word that heals the form go forth, the secret work that then must be revealed, the quality, the power to save. Could this be an expression of the fifth subray? Salvation, light and love, with the magnetic power of God, produce the word of wisdom. Send forth that word and lead the sons of men from off the path of knowledge onto the path of understanding. Wisdom. Is this the expression of the sixth subray? Or the second? Within the radius of the love of God, within the circle of the solar system, all forms, all souls, all lives revolve. Constant motion. Let each son of God enter into this wisdom, reveal each the oneness of the many lives. The quality, expansion, or inclusiveness. Is this the expression of the seventh subray? We'll consider these as we look next week into some descriptions of the ashram of synthesis that is emerging in the Aquarian age. So we won't pause today to share the qualities and values. We will do this next time in service in relation to the fifth essential relation and our beginning understanding of the sixth essential relation. We mind, the soul vehicle, and the development of the Antakarana as that great column bridge that we then share as we move forward together. We'll keep in mind that the human kingdom, the function is to mediate between the higher and the lower. The human kingdom is the subject of much divine impression, conveying the purpose of Sanat Kumara. We'll keep this in mind as we consider what impressions we receive in Aquarius, the light that shines on earth across the sea. This is the light which ever shines within the dark, and cleansing with its healing rays that which must be purified until the dark has gone. So next week, we'll take on these topics. And let us close with a mantra of unification.
The souls of all are one, and we are one with them. We seek to love, not hate. We seek to serve and not exact due service. We seek to heal, not hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form and life and all events, and bring to light the love which underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate, and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all people love.